Good time of the day. We got an interesting question today. We've been talking about lifestyle modifications and better meal choices, and the question was, is there scientific proof that it works and necessary? And this is the topic of this video.
Hello, my name is Vicki Curry, and I've been coming to Dr. Margolin for about 4.5 years now. And I am really happy to be here with him because he shows a lot of concern about my health, what's going on with me, and he gives me a lot of good advices and medications as well to help me. I appreciate the fact that I have him in my life. I don't know what I'd do without him. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ronald. I wish to confirm that Dr. Margolin has done a fine job for my wife as well as myself. She having back problems, I having a broken hip, and Dr. Margolin has done a fine job managing our pain. I hope that anyone that hears this will seek his services as well. He has done a fine job for us. Thank you.
I've been coming to Dr. Margolin's office, and it has really been a wonderful desire. He has really helped me out tremendously. There's been times that I couldn't move, and then I come to him and I'm able to move. At least sometimes I try to get down and scrub the ground, but I can't, but I'll get there eventually. Thank you, doctor and staff.
Well, we dedicated several videos, several talks, and we typically advocate for our patients to reconsider using of sugar, dairy, and red meat. It's not an ideology in any way. It's a practical advice. For example, some people consume poultry and fish, so they do not qualify as vegan or vegetarian, but nevertheless, we advocate mostly plant-based diet. We call it low-inflammatory diet. So the question is, why do we pay so much attention to that, and is there any scientific data that supports it? So in the short answer is yes, and I would like to present you with some data. I will put some links below this video, and then you definitely can expand and do additional searches, and you will find additional data. Let me start with sugar. Sugar is an inflammatory substance. I would not present any articles today because we had a separate video about almost 2 years ago that talked about sugar, but in a nutshell, research showed by National Institute of Drug Abuse showed that sugar, oversimplified, works on the same part of the brain as cocaine. It is an addictive substance. It's in a sense very similar conceptually to cocaine. It's a crystallized substance from a plant without fiber. May exhibit what we call supernatural effect on the brain. It's much less destructive than cocaine, but it's definitely addictive and an extremely inflammatory substance. So I refer you to my previous video on sugar. However, I would like to pay more attention to dairy and meat, because this is the most common question. Is it really necessary? Can you prove it? Why is it so important? So let me start with why it's so important. Most people who come to us, they concentrate on medications or interventions or physical therapy, all of which is a legitimate way of treating pain. But I would compare it to military science. In military science, there is strategy and tactics. Anything we do in the clinic, and not only us, like any pain program, any hospital program, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Ohio State University Hospital, any hospital, it's tactical. What we do, we decrease inflammation for a period of time, and we decrease pain, enabling person to have better quality of life, to be more functional, improve activities of daily living, participate in exercise program, and so on. It can be achieved with medication, with injection, but it does not change the natural history of the disease. For example, if you have knee pain and you, let's say, oversimplifying, your knee is supposed to last for 3 years, with or without medications, and with or without most interventions, the knee would last for 3 years. But the quality of life would be much better. However, if you change your life habits, if you change your meal choices, then the knee may last instead of 3 years, 5 years, or 6 years. You change the natural history by changing your body composition. That's why it's so important. It is also alternative to opioids. It usually is associated with increased energy, improved mood, decreased body weight. We call it, there is downward spiral, there is upward spiral. So is there any data? So I would like to talk a little bit about this article, right? It was published 3 years ago in Frontiers of Immunology. It is available for free online, and you can look in the description of this video and download it. It's called From Serum Sickness to Xenoceliitis, Past, Present, and Future Significance of Non-Human Sialic Acid, New 5GC. Now, it's a very detailed scientific article that we can talk like for 30, 40 minutes, very well done. And I'll oversimplify it. So definitely, if you want a more in-depth analysis, you would need to download the article and review it. But in a nutshell, humans do not produce sialic acid, which called New 5GC, some form of sialic acid. Sialic acid is like a coat of certain substances that incorporate in our membrane. Remember from high school, we have bilipid layers around cells called membrane. And something incorporates there, and it's covered with this New 5GC or 5AC. So humans do not produce GC, they produce only AC. And let's say if we take red meat, and of course dairy, because it is a product of, of animals that the source of red meat, let's put it this way. So this is the source of New 5GC. Now, why is it such a problem? Because the difference is minimal, and those substances, they incorporate into human membranes. So the substances from meat, from red meat or dairy, they incorporate into human membranes, but they're not human molecules. And there is an assumption, and there is a decent evidence in this article that human immune system, our immune system, sees this substance as non-self, as foreign, and then may potentially attack the cells, and that's why I call it xenoceliitis. It can cause inflammation, it can cause autoimmune reaction. And I just want to mention that unfortunately a lot of diseases are in a sense autoimmune. Rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, and even diabetes, they have certain potentially autoimmune components, I would put it this way. Lupus, of course, and many, many other diseases, which are some of them are on the rise. So there is definitely scientific basis for the assumption that if you consume red meat, you incorporate these substances into your body, and that can cause your immune system to attack yourself and cause a lot of inflammation and autoimmune reactions. That was very short, simplified explanation. Please read this article. I found it very interesting. I also found very interesting article in the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology by Dr. Esselstyn. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn is a cardiothoracic surgeon in Cleveland Clinic. And it's a very detailed study. I believe he wrote a book as well. He tried to help advanced cardiac patients who are not candidates for surgery. And he was trying to figure out what to do with them. And basically he tried a lot of things, and he tried plant-based diet, and he published this article about plant-based diet and cardiac disease. And by the way, he also notices that autopsy shows that coronary artery disease is prevalent between even ages 17 and 34. So it's relevant for all age groups, not only for golden age individuals. And in a nutshell, he showed that strict plant-based diet decreased the risk, improved the cardiac disease, and in some instances the narrowing of the coronary arteries actually decreased, which actually supports the inflammatory theory. You know, we blamed coronary artery disease on cholesterol, but now we see that though certain foods rich in cholesterol are not healthy for you, the actual cause of a lot of cardiac pathology is inflammation. Inflammation is the first step before the narrowing of the blood vessels. And by going on low inflammatory diet, not only you can decrease the pain, you can decrease your cardiac risk. That's why sometimes we discuss it together. I will put a link to this article in the description of this video. I also want to mention to you this article called The Role of Vitamin D Beyond the Skeletal Function, which, and we talked a lot about vitamin D over the last 2 years. And again, I'm not going to repeat myself, but look through the channel. We have more than one video that talks about vitamin D. But basically the article says that vitamin D not only makes your bones stronger, but improves your immune system, stabilizes your mood, and is actually important in many other functions. Somebody compared vitamin D to oil change in the car. You know, if you don't change your oil, a lot of things can go wrong, and potentially the engine can get damaged. So make sure you have good levels of vitamin D. Again, Ohio is one of the cloudiest states, and the optimal level for most people is above 50. I hope we answered the question. Thank you for this question, and hope everybody stays safe, healthy, and free of pain. Thank you.